This is a book review of Agents of Atlas, the complete collection by Jeff Parker and a variety of different artists. Now this is volume 1. There is a volume 2 available. And I must admit volume 2 in many ways I preferred slightly more than this. But still, it's a pretty good volume. This volume's got a lot of different stories. So in some ways there's no real coherent feel to the book. So what have you got? The spy, the spaceman, the goddess, the robot, the gorilla. What's the gorilla there? And also you've got Wolverine turns up, and the Avengers, and lots of other stories are in this. So you've got Agents of Atlas 1 to 6. They're probably the most coherent stories in the whole book. It's obviously the run of Agents of Atlas. And then you've got X-Men First Class, which I love. That was an excellent story. Also Wolverine, Agents of Atlas, What Ifs, Agents of Atlas, you've got the Avengers, Secret Invasion, plus you've got lots of reprint material from the 50s. Well, the characters like Venus, Marvel Boy, Namora, etc. are all 50s characters. They're all joined into this Agents of Atlas. Atlas being this Atlas Foundation. It's a vast organisation that spreads, well, not really exactly certain what it spreads around. It's everywhere. Literally, it's one of these like Hydra type of organisations. And initially, there's Yellow Claw. That's the main villain for the first part of the book. So you've got, and I love the artwork. The artwork is great. Like I say, it's a mix, so it's not consistent. So you've got some, really enjoyed the just little bits here where they've got shield operation database sections, another search database. Also you've got little articles all the way through it. And that's just a great touch. I really love the character like Venus. Venus is a great character. Love the Marvel Masterworks. There's a volume 1 of Venus. Sadly, there hasn't been a volume 2 as yet. Great characters, but all joined in this very sort of argumentative sort of, they keep together, but there's always tensions. Of course, that's the way superhero teams always seem to work. They're never, ever happy, particularly. So there's also this great robot as well. I love that robot. So this book has got how many pages? I think it's about 480 odd pages, all in mainly colour. There's some bonus material at the back, which is always good. But the stories, I say, just go backwards and forwards a bit. So you've got some Dark Reign stories, and I'm not a fan of those. I have to say the Dark Reign series really did not, Norman Osborn and all that sort of stuff, really didn't do much for me. So there's just great stories all the way through this. Great one, the Avengers there. You've got Miss Marvel, got Ronin, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Luke Cage turns up. And then once you go through all the obviously up-to-date stories, it actually goes back and reprints some of those really early stories, which is quite good. So I'll just quickly flick through. There's the general gist of the things. You can see what sort of... So there's a lot of great stories in here. I love Atlas. I think it's a brilliant series. I would love to see a volume 3, volume 4, etc. So this is a great series. But this one, like I say, also includes like Submariner, The Coming of Namora. This was in a Marvel Mysteries comics. Like I say, they're all from the 1950s. This is, well, actually, 1950s. I've got to put myself there. 1947, this character. So it's obviously even older than the 1950s. Very unusual stories, these ones. They're always unusual. Really quite like the artwork as well. It's quite unusual. Bob Powell, there was the cover artist, and artist Ken Bald. I knew that was Ken Bald. Just you can see a certain style. You think Ken Bald style. Great. Love that. Then you got Venus. Now Venus, like I said, there's a Marvel Masterworks series. And actually this one is, artist is George Klein. George Klein. I think it was some, Ken Bald as well in that as well. Some of the Marvel Masterworks with Venus. Really love the character. Sadly, they haven't yet to complete it with a Marvel Masterworks 2. Then there's Marvel Boy. Russ Heath. Brilliant, brilliant artist. I love this story. The Lost World. They've reprinted some of those in the Atlas Marvel Masterworks as well. So they were unusual stories. But that's really good. And then you've got Gorilla Man. Now, Gorilla Man's a real fun character in this book. Well, as much as a gorilla can be fun, but it's you've got Gorilla Man, and it's quite unusual. This one is obviously more like a horror story than what comes in the Agents of Atlas, so it's quite different, but it's still brilliant. And This one's Robert Q. Sale. I have to say, I'm not familiar with his work. Very nicely drawn and interesting origin of the, and this is the origin. These are all the origins. With the Venus, of course, there isn't really an origin. She's a goddess, so there's no origin story. She just comes to Earth. Then you got the robot as well, John Romita Sr. and Stan Lee's story. Now, the robot obviously is developed a bit better in the comic book than here. The robot's first appearance of, and this was 1954. Then you also got Yellow Claw, who's the main villain at the start of the book for the Agents of Atlas stories. So you got Last It Can Be Told, Yellow Claw, The Coming of, and this great story as well. So you've got a great young Joe Maneely, brilliant artist, someone that definitely deserves an omnibus edition or two for his work. I love Joe Maneely's work. So brilliant work there. So that's that, and then that's What If Avengers. There was this really brilliant What If back in, this was in 1978, and I really loved this. Of course, at this point, they weren't the Agents of Atlas. This is what if the Avengers had been formed in the 1950s. So you've got that story. So you go, this one is by Alan Kuperberg and Bill Black. And it's slightly different from Agents of Atlas, even though it's included here. Obviously, you've got Gorilla Man, the human robot, Venus, and you've got Marvel Boy. But you've also got 3D Man. This 3D Man. Now, obviously, he didn't turn up in Agents of Atlas for some weird reason. I'm not certain why. However, good story. I love those What If books. And also, of course, there's complete collections of What Ifs available now. And at the back, a really nice bit is got some lovely story here. The Agents, the Menace from Space. So you've got quite a long little story there all the way through. And then the online story, Agents of Atlas. So you've got some decent extras in this. Also, you've got some drawings, agent profiles, more drawings there, Namora. And all the way through to Gorilla Man, continuity catch-up, Agents of Atlas, and Namora, and so on and so on. So there's some real good material. It's a decent selection of bonus material, as well as truly a really good book with some very decent tales all the way through this. Love this book. Brilliant.